Camp Pineway's a place to relax and have some fun. That is until a killer picks you up one by one. Everyone's looking around and saying, "What did we deserve to get this fate?" And they must find a way to go and escape. For it's a hell of a summer. With 80s slashers, cliches galore, it's a hell of a summer. But as for the laughs, there's not a single one. Hell of a Summer was distributed by Neon Studios, and it was written by, directed by, and stars Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick. And boy, what a brick Hell of a Summer was. A brick shot in a basketball game, a brick of meat, a big brick of shit, a brick upside your goddamn head. I'll let you decide as I talk more about Hell of a Summer. A film that was labeled as coming out in 2023. I assume it came out of film festivals and was just looking for a distributor, but if that's the case, really, I have to wonder why in the world a film would sit on the shelf for that long, especially Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick. They're two very talented young actors. You have the two most recent Ghostbusters movies, even if I try to forget that they both existed. When You Finish Saving the World and It! So there's talent in front and behind the camera. So you have Finn playing Chris, and you have Billy playing Bobby. They arrive at Camp Pineway. It's basically like if you took Sleepaway Camp, Camp Crystal Lake, and other camp counselor cliches, Human Centipede them together, and had a bunch of kills that happened mostly off camera. And you had dark comedy that didn't really hit. Or comedy in general that didn't really hit. And look, I'm not going to mix words. While I like the cast and really appreciate what they were trying to do, this either was studio interference to the point that things were hacked to pieces, or maybe this wasn't just as funny as they thought it was, because this feels like a first draft script with, yes, send up various slasher tropes, and that's okay if they feel earned, but none of these characters feel in any way fleshed out. The comedy does not hit at all. The kills are dog shit. The killers are pretty goddamn obvious, but then again, there's nothing wrong with a satire having obvious killers if there's a reason, at least a good reason, or a funny reason, and there isn't any of that, and I was so goddamn disappointed. Now, I will take this over Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, and even 4, because you want to talk about studio interference, me, oh my, down on the bad sequel by you. But Hell of a Summer was a goddamn misfire. I do want to shout Fred Heisinger, who was in Thelma, as well as Nickel Boys and Craven the Hunter. And he is a very, very good actor. He's really risen up in the last couple years. You have Abby Quinn, who plays Claire. I've seen her and stuff. Standout for me was Padris Seremi, who, my goodness, with respect, what a lovely woman. Boy, stumbling over my words. My word. How lovely. And you had Rosebud. Rosebud's the name of the killer's sled. Can we go home now? Rosebud Baker, in other words. And there are other people in this. It's not a big cast, but it's a mixture of recognizable faces and some people that maybe you've only seen in a couple television projects. And yeah, Camp Pineway is a place where you can get away and then you get targeted by killers. And basically a lot of this theme seems to, involve Jason. No Heavy Rain in this, more than a pity, who's played by Fred, who keeps going back to be a counselor because he likes helping people and he likes doing this. And it's like a comfort blanket for him. He just enjoys it. It's not like a creepy thing like The Cook and Sleepaway Camp. A lot of Sleepaway Camp references here. No shocking ending like in Sleepaway Camp. This is actually more like the really, really bad Friday the 13th sequels or the reimagining in 2009. This just didn't work as a satire. It didn't work as a slasher. It did not work as a send-up. It did not really work as a film. It worked more as a short film concept. Had it been about 30 minutes, maybe it would have been better. Character motivations change like crazy, and none of it comes together. It is expedient. It's over in about 80 minutes, but that still feels like about 40 to 45 minutes. Way too long. So I'm going to get into spoilers, by the way. It won't take very long. There's a little romance stuff and whatever, and there's, a bit of an idea that maybe this could go in a couple different directions, but no, it just ends up not really having any fun with its concept. It just ends up going on the straight and narrow with a lot of jokes and a lot of lines that do not hit at all. Everybody seemed to be having fun. I hope they did. And I hope Ben and Billy can do better in their next project. That being said, 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So there are characters Mike and Demi, played by, again, the incredibly gorgeous Padris Cerami. They are the killers. They're doing this to be famous because they're two of the first people off. There is this opening scene with these two other camp counselors. One that was playing a guitar. The other goes off to get some beers, comes back, broke a guitar off in his mouth, never drew a dime. Chris and Bobby are friends. Some of the kills is actually astonishing. There's a redhead that gets her head chopped off. She's like a vegan. There's a guy with a peanut butter allergy or a peanut allergy that ends up getting fed peanut butter and he dies, but that's also off camera. Padris's Demi basically gets slaughtered off camera while there's some cutaways to Jason cutting some wood. That would have been kind of creative. There are a few creative shots. That's really about the only thing I can say positively about this, besides the cast trying. But it just ends up limping along to the eventual reveal. Like, it was obvious there were two killers, and that's okay. I mean, Scream did that, and other movies have done that for a number of years, a number of decades even. But once it reveals who the killers are, and they're just doing it to get famous, and none of it really ends up coming together as anything other than just an annoyance. It's really just an annoyance. That's actually pretty much my biggest criticism of this. I didn't care what characters lived or died. I didn't find any of the characters funny. And basically, a few end up dying. There's this clairvoyant one that ends up dying. They mess with the Ouija board. Wakeboard. Nailed it. There's also this teaser romance between Jason and Claire. There's one where Jason is accused of being the killer. Claire frees him. And Jason wants to go back because he wants to protect them, and he feels that he needs to stand up and be a proper camp counselor and head the camp. Also, there was this earlier thing where he taught Claire how to shoot an arrow. You need to just let go. And then also Mike was doing, some story about how he roundhouse kicked a cop, saying that he was a liar. A little bit later, he's trying to beat up Bobby. And Bobby looks like he's done for and then sticks him with the knife saying, I'm a liar, does that. But see, again, stuff would have been earned had any of this actually, bubbled up instead of just been stitched together, like ridiculousness. And Claire ends up basically rescuing Jason when Jason comes back. She ends up having she has an arrow and basically ends up getting Demi right in the goddamn eye. There is this one part where I think it's this guy Ezra. I think that's his name. It's the second movie I've seen with somebody named Ezra in it. And basically, he, gets blinded by some pepper spray. And even though it was close contact, I don't know why. He wanted to be a stage actor and he got killed on stage. And there was like an axe to the head, which sort of, I guess, worked. Kinda. But, yeah, Mike gets killed first. Demi gets killed. Claire and Jason are together. And that's it. Oh, and there's this, tease of this, possible two torn friends with this one girl that I don't know what this is supposed to be. I hated it. I hated it at the end. It gets an F. I'm sorry. Hell of a summer for anything it tries to send up. It's not creative, even though there are creative people in front of and behind the camera. F. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.